Ready.
Let's go. Hello, everybody. I am Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, here with Mr. Roy Nemer, the SmackDown recapper, as we debut a brand new show called the Wrestleview SmackDown Post Show. Roy, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. It's our debut show. Good to be here on our show, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Good to be here. Yeah. Hopefully one of many, many to come. Not quite sure about the name. See what gives.
Yes.
But
Best we can come up with in short notice.
yes, exactly. But we're open to suggestions, right? So we'll see what gives.
Open to suggestions and logos.
Yes, and logos as well.
So I should say, Roy, this is a great idea. Roy, I know, has been wanting to do a show for quite some time. So I'm happy to help you get this thing piloted off and get it up and running in the air. I can tell you, I'm not always going to be on the show. Roy's going to do this show with a variety of co-hosts. Sometimes you might even do the show solo. But I'm just here just to add a friendly face. I don't know.
You're here to fly the plane, so to speak. No, you've done everything. I'll be honest, guys. Everything behind the scenes is all Mike. I know nothing. I don't know how to set this up. Mike's the guy, so I do have to learn. But yeah, as Mike mentioned, I hope so. I hope so. But as Mike mentioned, yeah, I'll be flying solo. I guess for the most part, we'll have a couple of co-hosts as well, which will be fun. Change it up a little bit. But yeah, so this is going to be the post SmackDown show. Discuss the good, and I guess the good thing about SmackDown is that for the most part, it is a good show. Unlike the one on Monday. Oh my God, that's bad.
Wow, rub it in, why don't you, man?
I'm just saying, man, we don't have like flying or not flying, but disappearing Alexa Bliss and a Fiend showing up and Randy Orton burnt on one week and then the next week not burnt. Yeah, I'm just saying.
No consistency whatsoever on that damn show. But
No.
we've been doing the post Raw show for so long. Me and my wife, I don't even know if we know what to do with ourselves if we didn't have it. So, I know Victoria would love to be on this show at some point.
Oh, anytime. She's more than welcome. She knows that. You know that.
Because she's putting the baby down right now. But she was watching some SmackDown with me tonight, and she's like, "Wow, the 2 hour." The 2 hour time slot is just, it's such an easy watch. Even if like nothing is allowed to drag, like you literally can't drag it. Like, cause you only have a finite amount of time and then it's like, you have to get to the next thing. Otherwise it's never going to be on the show.
Yeah. And it's the good part. Like you said, even if they wanted to drag it out, they can't. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. And it's, for the most part, it's a very fun show. It's entertaining. You have some goofy stuff, but nothing over the top.
Right.
But open invitation, by the way, for Victoria. Whenever she wants, I'll be more than happy. Definitely more than happy.
It's always good to have a female on these shows. Wrestling podcasts are very much a sausage party.
Unfortunately, yes.
Well, some of them are just unfortunate people that just shouldn't.
Oof.
They just shouldn't be doing any type of podcasting. There's some people that are just too angry. I still enjoy the show. I love the show. Every now and then I get like something will just be like, oh my God, like I can't take it. Like lately, that's been happening to me a lot. But Raw in December and early January always seems to do that to me every year. It's like around November I reach my breaking point of them phoning it in for the fall, and then like I just lose it in December. It's like, this is, you cannot expect people to be enjoying this right now. There's no way.
No, I agree. Luckily we are WrestleMania season, so the worst is behind us. I hope anyways. Well, for your sake, right? For your sake and
my sake.
For Victoria's sake as well.
Well, the problem is
for your health, actually.
Yeah. We were talking about this on Monday, where like back in the day, like the Royal Rumble was such, like, it was great. Somebody would win the Rumble and it'd be like, oh my God, I cannot wait for WrestleMania to see this person go for the title. And that was at a time where this company didn't have, hours and hours of television to produce. People were on, there was like one show a week, if that, and these people were just in like a segment or two. And now it's like, for Raw especially, it's like, God, like they are on, for 3 hours, multiple segments with the Royal Rumble winner constantly. It's like by the time you get to WrestleMania, especially because we're like in such, instant gratification society, it's like, how do you keep someone hot from January to early April? It's like we've seen in recent years, like Drew McIntyre was like the anomaly. And it's actually, they were so careful with him last year that they did a really good job. But like years prior, you think about, the Royal Rumble winners, like Shinsuke Nakamura immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's like, remember they were like, oh, it's the dream match. The dream match can be the best match you've ever seen in your life. And it's like, well, if it's not just absolute utter perfection, if it's not like, Frank Gotch versus George Hackenschmidt, it's not good, Yeah.
And it's something I mentioned during the show as well on our Twitter, and I completely agree. I said, they're doing really well with Bianca Belair, but there's still 2 months to go. Like, they better not burn through everything, because
right.
2 months without a crowd, without an audience, already is difficult, in and of itself. But to get it to last for 2 months, heading into the biggest show of the year, is damn near impossible. But they've done some miracles lately, so who knows? But definitely, I agree. They got to be careful. Drew McIntyre last year was special, and honestly, I felt bad for him. Obviously there was no crowd, there was nothing. I'm just happy he got his Royal Rumble moment at least. But you think of it this year, and Bianca Belair, Edge's return, and WrestleMania, and all that stuff. What are you gonna do, right? It's the world we live in. Hopefully, it does, at least on SmackDown, or for your sake on Raw, obviously, it stays smooth and they don't burn through everything, right? They don't burn through Drew and Sheamus in the next 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, who Drew McIntyre's opponent is going to be, but I'm pretty sure we're 100% on who Edge's opponent is going to be. And that could lead us right into our SmackDown recap, Mr. Roy over here.
Yes. Great segue.
Yeah,
what? It's as if you've done this before.
I may have done this once or twice. It once or twice. Well, we can also say hello to the people in the chat room as well, because we actually have a lively group in here. This is very nice. We have CJ Bowman, Roy, that's joining us tonight. We have I Am Alpha. We have Quentin Walters, who's Wrestleview Post Raw's #1 fan, I have to say.
Hey, what's up, guys?
DeAndre Sisson. We have Jamel here. We got Mashoon Walls. We have Daniel Shell. We're looking good. And I know Victoria is going to be popping in the chat room anytime now. Tyler Upson. Hey, people came out. They must have heard you were going to be on the show. After the Crimbus Spectacular or Craptacular,
God.
with how you were put over. I mean, you are a very good-looking man. There's no doubt about it.
Minus I'm on like 6 hours of sleep. I don't sleep much, and I'm in Canada right now, so there's no sun, so I do look that tired. But thank you. Yes, I do agree that I am the better-looking of the Nemer family.
And you got the best hair, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, by far, not even close.
Although when I met Paul back in the day in 2013, he had a good mane on his head there, and
that was 8 years ago, Mike.
I know. Well, the time has not been friendly to his hairline. No, it hasn't been friendly to mine either. I'll tell you that. Though.
Look, so I have the better hair. I'm more talented. I am taller. I'm 6'5.5".
Really?
And the Undertaker follows me on Twitter. So there you go. Perfect. I can't say anything else.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good. So we also have Juan Alarcon in here, and Andrew Elder is joining us. All right.
There you go.
So, Roy,
we
were talking about keeping people hot heading, as we try to get into WrestleMania. Edge, the winner of the 2021 Royal Rumble, by the way, he's 47 years old. Looks great, but he's 47 years old.
Yeah.
Was on all 3 shows this week: Raw, NXT, and now SmackDown. Let's talk about that main event segment. I really like how they built up to this main event segment here with the Roman promo to start the show. Right now, for my money, there's no better way to kick off a show than with a Roman Reigns promo. And I thought that he set the story really, really well, to get you anticipating Edge coming out, in the main event segment of the evening. he was calling him out. He didn't understand why he has to be the first one out because he's the head of the table. And I loved Paul Heyman walking around. Edge isn't here yet, and he was like so mad. He starts screaming. Paul's like, "Oh man!" And then eventually to Edge coming out, which a little bit of a downer that there was kind of just ended on like a cliffhanger. Not a really great cliffhanger, but what do you think of Edge being the Royal Rumble winner? What did you think of Edge's appearance on the show? And God, can they keep this guy going if they keep putting him on all 3 damn shows?
Look, I did not hate the fact that Edge won the Rumble, but I can't say I loved it either. But then when you look at who else was going to win it, well, Sheamus is not an up and coming star. AJ Styles not an up and coming star. Who else was there? Daniel Bryan, same thing, and Daniel Bryan's hinted that he doesn't have much left in the tank. So when you look at it, you're like, okay, well, who are you going to go for? You're going to go for Edge, fine. And then it's kind of, honestly, and I tweeted about it. I said, after the Roman Reigns promo, I said, I did not know I needed or wanted an Edge versus Drew McIntyre feud up until that promo. Roman is the best guy they have on the mic on SmackDown by far. Him, Edge, and Orton are, in my opinion, head and shoulders above anyone else in the company right now on the mic, Paul Heyman excluded. Roman just has that thing, like ever since he came back, he really mastered the art of saying very little but conveying a lot. And he did all of that in that promo tonight. Like you said, like, I'm the head of the table, I'm the champion, I'm the main event. Why am I out here first? Where is Edge? He's the challenger. And set the table so well, because that Edge, the veteran and everything, he's not going to take no shit from anyone.
Yeah.
Let alone the champion. So I like that. I loved it. Could they keep Edge going? I don't know, but they're off to a good start, at least on SmackDown, because there was not that overexposure. Edge didn't really say much or anything on SmackDown tonight. So they played it safe. I just hope they don't have him on NXT every single show as well, every single week as well.
Yeah, that kind of felt just like, I think after the ratings came out this week for NXT and Edge didn't really push the needle at all, it's like, there's no need to continue even teasing that. It's nice and all. It's good that they're kind of keeping NXT involved like that, but for God's sake, NXT wasn't even involved at Survivor Series and stuff like that. They've really just been off of the Raw and SmackDown radar. So let's not try to even pretend that we're going to shoehorn them into WrestleMania.
I think because it may have worked last year with Charlotte, that they thought they could probably get some fans in to view into NXT, but I totally agree. There's absolutely no way, and it was even funny when Edge mentioned it. Who am I going to go for? Am I going to go for Drew McIntyre? Am I going to go for Finn Balor? Am I going to go for Roman Reigns? I mean, it's fairly obvious.
Yeah. The one thing that they have going for them this year is that there are no fans this year.
Yeah.
And, obviously, for this Road to WrestleMania, we at least had fans half the time for the Road to WrestleMania last year. But the very first time they're going to have a paying crowd in well over a year, since the Raw in Washington, D.C. That was the night after the last pay-per-view that had a crowd, which I was at in Elimination Chamber. The one thing that they have going for them and that Edge has going for him is that people are just going to be so damn excited to be at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
That's going to really help. That's going to really, I think, help all the reactions. I think they'll just be so happy to be booing and cheering anybody.
No, for sure. And, it obviously helps that no one really got to see Edge much last year. Came back at the Rumble. Then, like you said, about a month later, halfway into the Road to WrestleMania, the whole COVID shit happened. And he's an established star, right? It's not like it's someone that they're trying to push or trying to build. So they are going to get a reaction regardless. My question is, have they announced how many fans are going to be in attendance or anything like that?
They have not given any information, no parameters yet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how much they're allowing in for the Super Bowl this year.
Let's Google that. I'm going to Google that right now. Super Bowl attendance 2021. Let's see what it gives.
25,000 it says.
22,000. There you go.
Yeah. With a 30,000 cutouts there. So maybe they'll leave the cutouts behind for WrestleMania. That'd be nice of them. Although they are, I think like 7,500 of these people are going to be like vaccinated healthcare workers. So
Look, it's good to it's gonna be good to see at least someone in the crowd and not a fucking
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
'Cause that is
I'm really like, I'm just so over the Thunderdome presentation. I'm over their giant dramatic introduction for the Thunderdome as well. Like that is just like oh, the award-winning, world-renowned, cutting edge, high tech. It's like, all right, enough with that. We get it. It's like
they're gonna be on Peacock, right? So they got that contract. They gotta keep pushing it.
yeah, no question about it.
No, but I understand for sure, sure.
And so, Roy, take us through this show.
Yes. So we start off with a fucking bomb of a promo, and I mean that in a good way. Roman Reigns. Why am I out here? I run the show. Where's Edge? And then he pulls off this whole fucking thing of, why would you play games with me? And his face just snaps. It just flips. And then you have Heyman in the background. You know, Heyman's reaction for me just is like the cherry on top of that.
It was great.
Fucking loved it. It was great. I loved it. So it was a solid promo, and then Roman tells him, look, you're giving me an answer by the end of the night. You're giving me an answer by the end of the night. Drops his mic, leaves. I know you said it was kind of a cliffhanger, right? You didn't. I guess you didn't like it too much.
Well, I mean, for the Edge thing at the end, it's like, oh god, you know, it's like every year that we have to like drag out into oblivion the WrestleMania choice. You know, well, last year they really didn't, but you know, except for the women's Royal Rumble, they dragged that out a little bit. But man, like I just like, I don't want it to be going into like March and Edge is like still like playing the games and stuff like that. It's like, oh god.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I feel like they might wait to see what happened. Like they might play out the storyline on Raw between Sheamus and what's his name, and Drew McIntyre at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah. I'm guessing they'll probably face each other there. So like you said, I hope we don't wait it out till the end of the month. Hopefully by next week or something, or in the next 2 weeks, we get an answer. They hinted at it with Bianca Belair when she said, I'm going to make my decision soon. I'm going to be ready soon. Hopefully it's the case with Edge as well, because there's no point. It's clearly mapped out. You know, everyone knows where it is, or who's going to face who. It does look like Roman's going to face Edge, and Sheamus is getting Drew. Hopefully they don't delay the inevitable.
I'm actually not convinced that Sheamus is getting Drew right now.
You thinking AJ?
I don't know. They did AJ at TLC with Drew. You know, it's like, I'm actually thinking, Lashley? Daniel Bryan has been teasing a lot that, he like he's in his final run. He's doing a great. I mean, Daniel Bryan on the SmackDown creative team has just been wonderful. You can really see his influence, in the people that are getting spotlighted more, specifically Cesaro. And, it's kind of funny, you think you contrast that with Edge, who's on the Raw creative team, at 47, he's involved in a storyline that puts him, squarely in the main event of WrestleMania. And Daniel Bryan is like, let me put over everybody on earth. He's tapping out to Cesaro tonight. But I actually think, I don't know what's going to happen at Fastlane or what. I really think that they could actually set up Drew McIntyre versus Daniel Bryan. I don't know why that came into my mind today, but
I don't know. Sorry, not. I
think that would be a great match.
You mentioned Fastlane. We got a commercial here that said Elimination Chamber.
Oh yeah, Elimination Chamber as well.
Sorry.
Of course.
Yeah. So, no. So you're right. It is 2 pay-per-views. I forgot there's one in March, but I don't know. Do they switch Daniel Bryan up? You think that happens? They send him to Raw?
Well, if they're going to put Edge on SmackDown, Raw, really, other than Drew McIntyre, who's like a giant main eventer? Like Randy Orton is tied up with this Fiend clown bullshit. It's like, and we did Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton to death. And I think Drew McIntyre versus The Fiend would be death, just death television. No. I don't even think people would accept it. I don't care how long they've been waiting to see a wrestling show. If they're going to start doing Fiend magic tricks, at WrestleMania, I don't know. But, you could have like that that ultimate match, night one of WrestleMania with Randy Orton and Fiend, and just do like the biggest bullshit dumbass thing and save Drew for something. I mean, Drew even said in an interview, like, I'm the WWE champion. I believe this title doesn't need to have cinematic matches. Like, I appreciate what, Wyndham Rotunda is doing, with the Fiend gimmick, but like, that's not something I'm interested in. That's not a story that I'm interested in. Now, that of course doesn't mean that, in the feverish brain of Vince McMahon, that he just can't wake up one day and just go, well, it's it's happening, pal. That's it. It's the end of it.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. Exactly. You might get Vince waking up one day with, with the heart on and like, shit, well, we have fans in attendance now. Holy shit. Imagine what we could do with the Fiend and Smoke and him with the title. And
I mean, don't forget, 75 years old. He'd be lucky if he still gets one.
I mean, I'd rather not think about that, even though I'm the one that brought it up. That's a poor pun. That's a very poor pun. I said brought it up. God. So enough about Vince McMahon and his genitals. But look, I hope to God we don't get the Fiend and Drew McIntyre, because it's two very distinct characters, just very different. You can't see them mix well at all, and they fucked up so badly with the Fiend. They started off very well at SummerSlam against Balor, and but then when they got the red lights and it was just horrible, then they had a job in Saudi Arabia and
it went too far. And it's like, people are like, well, everybody likes the Undertaker. It's like, well, that's a false equivalency, number one, because Undertaker's, like they did the really goofy stuff. It got goofy toward the end as well, but for the most part, the goofiness was in the early mid-90s, where you had plumbers and stupid shit like that running around. The Attitude Era, they got a little campy again. But then he realized, I have to move forward. They dropped the magic. He did the American Badass. He went back to Undertaker and stuff like that. But it was never outrageous in my mind, where it was like, oh my God, this is like detracting from the story.
No, the only, like, and I say the only, obviously there were a couple of stuff, like really the only over the top thing was the Undertaker losing his powers when Paul Bearer didn't have the urn, right? I was like, and that's fine. It's it's wrestling, was goofy, early mid '90s, right? Or the Undertaker against the Undertaker.
Yeah, that was the cartoon version of it. Yeah, but he evolved, and probably like the most over the top thing that stayed with his gimmick was, the sitting up thing. He'd take a lot of punishment and then he would sit up. But like, everybody hulks up. But like, the Fiend doesn't sell a fucking thing.
No. Those like 40 curb stomps and 40 chair shots of Seth Rollins, and then you have the neck breaking thing, which I hate that.
Oh, me too.
No, they jumped the shark really early on him.
Yeah, they overthought it, and they thought, like, we have a good thing going here, and then it's like whenever WWE tells a good joke, and then they tell the joke every week until it's like, oh my God, stop, like that's enough. Like, that's why I'm thinking, like, Daniel Bryan could be a great opponent, especially if they say, like, in the Elimination Chamber, like, the winner gets a title shot of their choice or whatever, and if Daniel Bryan switches up and says, like, well, I want Drew McIntyre.
So let me ask you this, because I know you guys spoke about this, a bit on the Raw show. Who's more believable to beat Drew McIntyre? Daniel Bryan, who you mentioned, or Bobby Lashley?
Bobby Lashley is a powerhouse, but Daniel Bryan is like such a talented, awesome, just performer.
But are you going to go with the face versus face? Because this is like the two biggest baby faces in the company right now.
Well, now that Edge didn't make his choice tonight, Edge can still be on Raw. The one thing that Edge was doing with Drew McIntyre was saying, like, you're not aggressive enough. You should be kicking my head off right now. I just came into the ring and I'm a direct threat to you. I could choose you to be in the main event of WrestleMania and beat you for that title, and you're giving me compliments. He could he could be that, like, devil on the shoulder kind of pushing Drew McIntyre to stay a face, obviously, but give him an edge as well, to, no pun intended, I honestly, to be more aggressive, so that he's kind of playing like a tweener in that match rather than than a full-fledged face. There's ways to do it. But I think, man, I'd love to see I just like to see that, you know, and also I think it'd be good to freshen up the Raw scene a little bit, because there's just not enough people. The Sheamus thing, it's like they pulled that gun they pulled that trigger way too early, and it came out of nowhere. It's like they're gonna blow this off at Elimination Chamber and Fastlane, and then Drew McIntyre's gonna need a new opponent, whether it be Bobby Lashley. Maybe Brock Lesnar comes back, like people are saying. I personally don't think you use Brock Lesnar until you get people back full time.
No, yeah.
But, you know, or it could be Daniel Bryan. You know, there's a bunch of different things they could do.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't pushed Strowman more. I don't know if it's because they don't trust him. I don't know if it's injuries or whatnot. But, you know, they had him on the show last week. He was at the Rumble. They just got rid of him. Nothing else. You know, no mention of him whatsoever on SmackDown.
Yeah, or on Raw, because he's a Raw superstar now.
Is he?
Yeah, they switched him in the draft.
Oh my God.
And yeah, they had a Raw star return on SmackDown last week. He's number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Gets eliminated and didn't appear on Raw on Monday or SmackDown tonight. You didn't hear anything about him.
And unless do they bring him back at the Chamber and have him win it? You have two monster guys.
I think, you know, we talked about how we feel bad for Drew McIntyre. I think that would just suck to levels that haven't been sucked yet. If the one match that this man has as WWE champion in front of a crowd is against Braun Strowman, who there's almost no chance of having a good match. And Drew McIntyre, you know, you can tell he takes a lot of pride in his work. The guy fucking kills himself when he's involved in any match. You know, he goes hard. You know, it's like you look at what he did at TLC, you look at what he did at Hell in a Cell. He's taking big bumps for a guy his size.
Yeah, he is.
You know, and there's not much that you can do with Braun Strowman. And God, they have, you know, his title run last year can only be characterized as poor.
Yeah,
partly
but
because of the Fiend stuff.
The Fiend, I was gonna say, because of the Fiend, right? And a lot of it as well was when they were still in the Performance Center.
Yeah, no question about it. But you know, along with the Fiend, like there was nothing in between either on the shows that was like overly entertaining, except when he tipped over the thing with Miz and Morrison, and that was pretty good.
That was funny, yeah. That was pretty funny. But we'll see. What do you guys think in the chat? Who would you like to see McIntyre face?
Yes.
Honestly, I personally, I know you don't like it. I know it happened before. I would go with Lashley. Have him undefeated. Have him undefeated for the next 2 months.
Well, that'll really make that random Riddle roll up that they did a couple of weeks ago hurt even more. It's like, God, he could have been undefeated since like August instead of like we had to have that Riddle roll up because.
But does someone really remember that?
I do.
Does anyone else outside of the immediate
anybody else who's not family? Obsessive compulsive?
Your words, not mine. But
hey everybody, we hope you're enjoying the SmackDown Post Show. This is our debut episode. This is Roy Nemer is the actual host of this show. I'm just Mike Tedesco. I'm just here helping out and just enjoying a nice conversation here with Mr. Nemer. I just love getting on a podcast and just talking wrestling. You know, it just so happens that we're going to be focusing on SmackDown here, but I'm enjoying our conversation tonight. If this is your first time checking us out, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please. We'll get a couple of you guys on the shows, right? As we mentioned at the start, next couple of weeks, maybe next couple of months, as we keep this going, we'll get some co-hosts. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned to see how you can get involved. So just looking at the chat really quickly. Daniel says Sheamus against McIntyre. Quinton says Lashley. There you go. I agree with Quinton. Eastside reviews Drew versus Bork, Drew versus Sheamus, or Drew versus Keith Lee. Oh my. Keith fucking Lee. Fuck. Talking about dropping the ball.
That's a long shot. That's as long as a long shot. Jamel is completely right about that.
Yeah. Andrew, Daniel Bryan versus Drew, and Mike invading every show that's not his own. Yeah, Mike is the edge, right? You're on every single show now. We don't want too much overexposure there, Mike.
That's right. That's why I'm trying to see my way out of here already. You know.
There you go. But no, so all right. So a couple of us, well, actually, we're all in the same boat, right? Either Sheamus, Lashley, or or Daniel Bryan. Aside from that Keith Lee comment, that's a tough one. Edge, I'm not sold. Honestly, I'm not sold on Edge versus McIntyre.
I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think I do believe that it's going to be Edge versus Reigns. Spear versus spear.
Uh, yeah, I could see that. And honestly, it would be a good show. My only thing, and we're getting way ahead of ourselves, is I want Roman Reigns to retain. If you're gonna build a fucking mega star out of Roman Reigns, which they're on the right path, which they're doing, you have to have him win. That's my opinion. I know Edge is the feel good story in front of fans, comes back last year, wins, last year in front of fans, wins the Rumble this year. But you have to stick with Roman on this one.
Yeah, I agree as well, and I think that would just turn he beats Edge, who's returning from injury, who wants to win back the title that he never lost. If he beats Edge, it just makes him even
The
more
ultimate bad guy.
the ultimate bad guy. You want that. You want that heat, and it got it. That's the match. If you want me to get crazy, that should end like night one, so everybody kind of like leaves WrestleMania like, oh man.
Leave him wanting more. But you know what? That depends. I would agree with that if you're gonna end it on night one. But night two, you better have a heck of a main event with Drew and whoever's in there. That's the only issue.
Bryan.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. But
the Giant Killer.
The Giant Killer. Imagine having 2 night WrestleManias where on the men's side, both guys retain. You got Drew retaining. That'd be something.
That would be something.
That would be something.
Hey, you know what? Last year we had 2 nights in a row of the same exact title match with just different people in it. So
that's true. Same length, same moves, practically.
Same amount of excitement too.
Oh God! Look, I'll give him a pass on last year. I thought match-wise it wasn't too bad for a couple of them, but yeah.
The NXT Women's Championship. I'm just glad Victoria was watching it with me, because she would definitely, if she was listening to that in the other room, she'd think I was on a
website. Certain paying website or something, right? Yeah, that's the one. So my apologies, Jamel. I'm horrible with names, so Eastside Reviews is Jamel. I'm horrible about that, guys. All right, so this is a SmackDown show, and we got way off topic discussing WrestleMania, even though I loved it. But let's keep it going. How about we keep it going? After that came probably the lowest of the low on SmackDown, which is actually not that bad, all things considered. Dominik Mysterio versus Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
This is your Bobby Lashley constantly beating up Matt Riddle every single week. It's this, except this time they actually surprised us and had Dominik somehow win.
Dominik is by far the youngest the youngest member on their roster that they have. That I believe that is active at the moment. 23 years old. They had other than the SummerSlam match, and that little thing that they had with Seth Rollins, which was insufferable at certain times.
Yeah.
He hasn't done well on SmackDown. He's just been a guy, they had this. They had the thing with Murphy and Aaliyah, and his sister, who's not even a wrestler, took the stage front and center away from him. It's like, wow, and he just kind of faded in the background. Yeah, him and his father. It was announced that they had COVID in December, which is why they disappeared for a little while. But I have not been impressed with Dominik Mysterio, and it's like I almost don't see the I don't see the efficacy of him continuing to be on SmackDown. I don't think it's going to do him any favors to, just keep. I mean, yeah, he won tonight, but it wasn't like a great convincing win or anything. It was a win, but
no.
Next week he'll be back to being beaten to shreds again.
Exactly.
He's like a guy he's just a guy without a real story. It's like his sister was a story, Murphy was a story, and now there's no Murphy and there's no sister and there's no Angie. Like, whatever happened to Murphy and Aaliyah?
I don't know, and I don't want to know. That was fucking horrible. I remember when the draft happened, and they got sent over to SmackDown, and you fucking tweeted, you're like, sorry, Roy, but thank you. I don't blame you. That was a shit show. And credit to Dominik, because he was having, some pretty good performances on Raw. I thought he did well, in his matches against Seth Rollins. He definitely took a beating. He's talented. I just don't know if they pushed him too much too soon, especially on SmackDown, because he's just been a whipping boy on SmackDown.
He really has been a whipping boy, and to me, it's like, I don't mean, I really don't mean the way this is gonna come off, but like, a lot of their young talents, like you see that they come in with a lot of P&V, piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
Like you think about Keith Lee, he makes his debut, and it's like, okay, they're gonna, oh my God, there's like, you see him come out, and it's like you have so many ideas in your head as a fan, you're watching. It's like, oh my God, they can go here, they can go here. This guy's gonna be a superstar, slam dunk. And then, like I'm watching Dominik Mysterio come out. I'm like, God, this kid he's really special.
Yeah.
He's a little rough around the edges in certain spots, but you can see all the potential in the world. And if they, do a few things right with him, like, if they do the SummerSlam match right, where he just looks like, very competitive against Seth Rollins, that'll be great for him, and he kind of did, but, Seth Rollins won. And then it's like, okay, well, eventually Dominik's got to get a win, right? He never got that win for Seth Rollins. Never.
He never.
The best he did was he beat Murphy, and then the story just ended.
Yeah. No, I get it. And if you think of it, and like a part of me thinks that the reason why, especially on SmackDown now, is the reason probably why he's not excelling as much is, if you really think of it, outside of the Brock Lesnar stuff where he just got killed, he's never really been in front of an audience. So I don't know if there's no crowd to feed off of. Maybe that, that's affecting him. But the character itself, they're fucking him completely.
Completely.
And because he's talented.
Getting back to my original point, like even like with Keith Lee, like you can see after a few months of going through the WWE, main roster storylines, you get beaten down. And it shows in their composure in the ring. Like, I've never seen Keith Lee trip and all that stuff. And like, even in like he just doesn't know what's up and what's down anymore, because he's been pushed up and down, and just had all the confidence essentially beaten out of him by a writing staff that doesn't know what to do with him. Yeah. And I think that's what's going on with Dominik too, because, there was an extra amount of flash with him, when he came in. And of course that's just, the excitement of making your debut. But like, even like when I was watching him tonight, like the moves that he was hitting don't have the same crispness. He's not getting the same amount of air that he was getting a few months ago. It's just like he looks like he's wrestling nervous. And that's not good.
No, at all, especially at such a young age too. Especially at such a young age. I don't know if obviously you mentioned he had COVID. I hope not. Anyways, maybe that's taken out. Maybe that's something. Maybe it took something out of him, his stamina or whatnot.
That very well could be.
It is possible. I hope not. I honestly, I definitely hope not, for sure. But I just feel like he needs that confidence back, like you said, because his confidence looks shot to hell right now because of the poor writing, not because of him.
Right.
It's the writing. It's the no fans, no audience to feed off of. If you look at Keith Lee, right, going back to your point, well, when Keith Lee debuted last year at the Rumble, he got a pretty big pop. Lesnar's in the ring, and Lesnar looks at him and he's like, oh, big boy, who's this type of thing.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of, that's it. It just died down. No fans. Like you said, you see him kind of nervous and tripping and stuff. In my opinion, the problem with Keith Lee is I don't know if he's a Raw guy. I feel like he could do much better on SmackDown than on Raw. If that makes any sense.
It does. And you're 100% right that in that setting, he would do better. But you could literally say that about anyone on that roster, because it's like, it's different when you go to 2 hours. Like, the show is just so much more watchable, and it's better for those people because they don't get overexposed. It's like, I'm not tired of seeing Cesaro.
No,
like,
at all.
And in fact, that's something, like moving on to like Daniel Bryan and Cesaro there, that's a match that I wanted to see go longer.
Yeah.
But because of the 2 hour constraint, they can only get through one commercial break, which is fine. You know, leave me wanting more.
Yeah.
I definitely want more of that.
No, same. Grant, I mean, I do, but at the same time, I obviously want them to push Cesaro a bit more and not just, beat Daniel Bryan. But yeah, leave me wanting more. I mean, you have Daniel Bryan tapping out to the sharpshooter. Like Cesaro looked like $1 million right there. So what's next for Cesaro? What are they going to do with him? So I am invested in Cesaro, and a part of that is because, like you said, it's a 2-hour show. They give it the raw. They are limited in the time that they have, and you can tell everyone really pushes for it, as opposed to Raw, where you get fucking 4 commercial breaks in a single match, plus the progressive rewind show where they show you a clip from earlier tonight. They show you the whole fucking opening promo. Yeah, obviously you're gonna die, but no, it's for Cesaro. I'm very happy with him. Hopefully it actually leads to something. And side note, hello Victoria. I just saw it in the chat.
There you go. Yeah, I do wonder where they're going to go with Cesaro, because I was looking at the stats from like the Royal Rumble, like on Monday and Tuesday. I was like going online when everybody gets the the times that people are in the ring, and what Royal Rumble number this is for them now. Like, I was looking at guys like Cesaro, who debuted with the company in 2011. It's 10 years ago.
Shit.
A guy like Dolph Ziggler, Miz, who were like each in their 14th and 15th Royal Rumbles. What advancement? I mean, Miz is right now holding the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And he's going to face Bad Bunny at WrestleMania with Miz and Morrison versus Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, it looks like right now at WrestleMania. But other than being like a comedic foil, and a champion for a hot minute in 2011, like, what career advancement has Miz made in like 15 years? Like what has Dolph Ziggler done, in the 15 years that he's been with the, actually he's with the company longer, because he was part of the Spirit Squad. So 2005, 2006, like, he's still in the mid card. He's still just the guy, the stopgap in the Royal Rumble, just to like put in some solid work, but they've never done anything with him.
No, at all. And even tonight, when they had their match against Otis and Chad Gable, I'm like, who the fuck are the tag team champions on SmackDown? And then out came Ziggler and Rude. Look, nothing against them, right? They're solid workers and everything, but like you said, there's what have they done? Ziggler was what, a champion? He held the heavyweight title 10 years ago.
Yeah,
that was it. Yeah, Rude was a champ on NXT, moved up to Raw, nothing. Took him off the show, brought him back, brought him on SmackDown, teamed him up with Ziggler. Nothing at all, no advancements, and they're not young guys anymore, right?
No.
So who's benefiting from this? On SmackDown, if you want to get the tag titles off the Street Profits, do that, not a problem. But don't fucking give it to 2 guys during the worst fucking period in wrestling. 2 guys that are doing nothing and are going to continue to do nothing.
Yeah, like it's not going to benefit them. It's not going to hurt them to not have those titles either. Like, they just are where they are now, and at their age, they're not going to run with them and give them a big run either. So it's what you would call, I guess, a lateral move. There's just really, like, there's no advancement there.
Yeah, side to side.
But it's also bad, because it's like, you have these guys that are still taking up these spots. They have more people than ever signed in their development, and other than like who's really like from their development system, like it's like on SmackDown, it's like King Corbin is directly from their development system. He never did independent.
The entire women's division.
The entire women's Ruby Riott was not trained there. I think Liv Morgan might have been.
Morgan might have. Charlotte, depending on where you want to put her. Sasha Banks, Bayley.
Yes.
There's I can't remember who else. Yeah. Lacey Evans on Raw, but yeah. So they have a couple. Yeah,
they have a few, but for the men, it's really like it's Otis, it's King Corbin.
Yeah.
And that have come directly out of the Performance Center. Like Ziggler is like a holdout from like FCW. Like they're not advancing much because they're not doing a good. I don't think they're doing a good job at the Performance Center. I just don't.
I don't think so, honestly. And I think I'll cut them some slack, and maybe you might agree. I don't know. So I'll ask you this. Do you think they're holding on to Ziggler and The Miz and stuff like that because specifically right now there are no fans, and with no fans it's kind of difficult to build a star?
I think they're just holding on to them because like they
Strowman. Jamal said Strowman. I guess that's
Strowman.
true.
Yeah. See, like these are not exactly ringing endorsements for the goodness of the Performance Center. Everybody. They always put over the Performance Center as like the state of the art place, and it's like, yeah, well, at the end of the day, Prince Albert is the head trainer there, the guy named after a cock ring. It's like,
Yeah.
that's who's training everybody.
And you know what? It shows, and I know we spoke about this back in December when we did the show, the Christmas show. And to go back to what you said of, you don't think they're doing a good job in the Performance Center. I tend to agree because tonight we had 2 frog splashes. You had one from Dominik Mysterio, and then you had one from, I can't remember, it was near the end of the show. There were 2. And the third one would have been Montez Ford.
Right.
So you have 3 guys with the same big move.
Sasha Banks does it too.
So there you go, Sasha Banks. That's a 4th.
Apollo Crews does it.
Sorry, there you go. It's Apollo Crews. So you had Apollo Crews that did the frog splash tonight. You had Dominik that did a frog splash. Normally you'd have Montez Ford and you have Sasha Banks. So you have 4 competitors, 4 superstars that have a same big impact move. And it feels like it's the system. Maybe it's the Performance Center system. Granted, Dominik isn't from there, but Crews isn't he? If I'm not mistaken. Or maybe
Yes.
I believe he is. So you have 3 people that came out of the Performance Center. At the end of the day, I don't know. They have to teach him things other than fucking suicide dives and frog splashes.
Crews was
Wasn't he TNA? Oh, he was TNA, wasn't he? Impact.
No, but he did not train from the Performance Center. No, he
No.
was. I'm trying to remember his independent name.
Okay, my bad.
It was Uha Nation or something like that was his name.
Jeez,
So
okay.
he came through Dragon Gate.
Okay, I was way off then.
Trained by Mr. Hughes.
Yeah. Oh, all right. And Jamal
Yeah.
says having HBK as one of the head folks ain't a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, HBK. Well, I don't know if there's a Nemer on this earth that will ever like HBK.
Look, I don't despise him. Not like Paul.
Paul has a seething hatred of that man.
Oh yeah, we used to go to shows and it was like you screwed Brett. Even 2003, at one point he started a "You Screwed Brett" chant when Michaels was in the ring with Jericho during a highlight reel, and Jerry Lawler even made a comment. He's like, guys, there's a guy that's Paul Nemer, my brother, was holding a sign that said Bret Hart is God, and Jerry Lawler pointed it out. He said, guys, there's someone here with a sign that says Bret Hart is God. Like, please, folks. And then he started Bret Hart. Then he started "You Screwed Brett" chant. So, yeah, Paul has a severe hatred, like anger management hatred.
I whenever there's a show in the Saudi Arabia, or as we called it before, it's South Dakota because they don't like to mention where it is from.
Yeah.
I usually do those shows with Paul because he lives in the Middle East now, and he's up at the time that the shows are going on, and it's like it ends at 4:00 our time, so hop on with Paul and do it. He was absolutely fucking giddy when Shawn Michaels had that return match, and it was horrific against the Undertaker and Kane. Triple H tore his pec, and he couldn't wait to get on because he wanted to talk about how bad Shawn Michaels did and it's karma and the guy sucks. It's like, oh my god, Paul,
get over it.
It was 20 years ago, man.
24 years ago. Well, nearly a quarter century. But
move on with your life.
What's that?
Move on with your life, man.
Yeah, that's it, right? But but anyways, I don't know if having Michaels in the Performance Center is a good thing or not.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, they did do a good job with Bianca Belair at the Performance Center. That much we can say, and I think we can all thank Booker T. We can't thank him for that Bad Bunny song. I do not think that that's a good song. I think Bad Bunny has better music out there, and I don't think the Booker T is his best work. But Booker T is the one who discovered Bianca Belair, so we can thank him for that.
That's true. That's true. And you could tell she worked a lot. Like I watched her the Chronicle thing uh, of Bianca Belair, and you could tell it was a not a confidence issue, but you could definitely see she worked on her character a lot. So credit to her. And I feel like a lot of the guys, not that they don't put in the work, obviously they do, but sometimes you can just tell they don't have it. Like who's more charismatic just by looking at them? Who has more charisma, Robert Roode or Bianca Belair? Just by looking at them. Don't even open your mouth. You could tell. And credit to her. She's charismatic and she worked on herself a lot. But yeah, Performance Center helped, but I feel like that was more her than the Performance Center.
Very true. Very true. I mean, you can't teach charisma. That's the one
No,
thing that we know.
no.
You can give people world class training if they don't, if they don't have it. So like, not to speak ill of the dead, but like, the natural Butch Reed, for example, was a great talent, really, really great talent. It never really showcased in WWF. When he debuted 86 to 88. I think by that point he was pretty burned out on the schedule. He no-showed a couple dates, and that's why he didn't do well with WWF. But you saw, like, when he got refocused, hitting up with Ron Simmons as part of Doom. We were talking about this before we came on the air. This guy, really was a special talent. But as great as Butch Reed was, he was like the main heel, Hacksaw Butch Reed in Mid-South wrestling. When in the early to mid 80s, 1983, 1984-ish, he was facing Junkyard Dog, and Junkyard Dog was the top face. Bill Watts, say what you want about Bill Watts, but he pushed JYD to the moon in that territory, and he was the draw. And Butch Reed could, obviously wrestle circles around JYD, but JYD had that charisma. And when Vince McMahon scooped him up, and Bill Watts was like, well, what do we do? Okay, I guess we're going to turn Butch Reed. Butch Reed, anywhere else, I think would be a babyface, but following up Junkyard Dog, he just didn't have that charisma.
Yeah.
You can be a world-class performer. You could wrestle circles around everybody. You could wrestle a broomstick in the ring. Ric Flair could be Ric Flair, but without the Ric Flair persona, he's not Ric Flair. And Butch Reed was no JYD.
No. I mean, look at Hogan. I'm obviously going to the extreme, but Hogan was not a good wrestler. But fuck, he could talk.
That's all you need to do. That's still at the end of the day, that's all you need to do. And Bianca Belair, she not only can she talk, that's why she's like an anomaly. Not only can she talk and has tons and tons of charisma, I think she's a tremendous athlete, incredible. Yeah. And I think she's a little rough around the edges still in the ring, but
no,
she's gonna be great for years to come.
Bianca Belair is what Sasha Banks thinks Sasha Banks is.
Yes, she's what Sasha Banks wishes Sasha Banks was.
Yeah, literally. Literally. Like, I see Bianca Belair, and it's like the fucking deluxe version of Sasha Banks.
Right.
I'm not trying to hate on Sasha, don't get me wrong. But
I'll do that for you if you want.
I know you will. I could. I'm just trying to be the positive one here, because you have enough negativity on your show.
Hey, what the hell? What kind of endorsement of my show is that?
I'm just kidding. Man, it's tough enough on Raw is what I meant. I meant the show itself, like Raw itself, not your show. I meant Raw is negative. Sorry.
It is a negative show.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, I didn't mean your show. No, you and Victoria are doing a tremendous job.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know what you meant.
It's shit. But so I just think Bianca is, and you called it. I remember you calling it last year, and I'm not someone that watches much NXT. But when Bianca Belair came out at the Rumble last year, I remember you tweeting some stuff. And you're like, wow, great. And on the post show and stuff like that. And you called it. She is, in terms of the women on SmackDown, she's better than Carmella. Even though Carmella's packaging has been decent. But she's better than Carmella, better than Sasha, better than Bayley, who's starting to get stale, better than the Riott Squad. They don't know what they're doing with Billie Kay. She is the bright spot in an otherwise mediocre women's division right now on SmackDown.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Like that, the SmackDown women's division is the one weakness that I've talked about in the past. I thought that women's division. I think the women's division overall, Raw and SmackDown, is just very, very weak. It's like for as much talent as they have in the Performance Center, they aren't really utilizing the women well. It's like they had Rhea Ripley last year. They did nothing with her, and even now, it's like she's primed for her Raw or SmackDown debut, and we went a whole week without seeing her now.
Yeah. No, I know, and especially last year after WrestleMania,
the last one eliminated in the Rumble.
Yeah, and nothing at all.
They need an infusion of talent, and sending out that the redheaded girl at the Rumble trying to Santana Garrett. It's like, what the fuck is she doing here?
Yeah,
what is she doing here?
You could tell I'm surprised they got 30 women for the Rumble.
Victoria said the same thing.
I'm fucking surprised. I just kept thinking, like, who else? And this was like without, I guess, because Tori Wilson kind of is an emergency. If you're bringing in Tori Wilson, it's a problem. If you're bringing in
Santana Garrett, it's a problem.
It's a problem. They brought back Victoria as well.
Yeah.
It's
I thought they should have called
Fox.
my Victoria. Paul Levesque should have called her up. Hi, Paul, and she should have been in it.
Yeah. Clinton says, you shut your mouth about Billie Kay. Look, I like Billie Kay. I really do. I enjoy the whole, scheme or whatever her character, but they just don't know what they're doing with her, period.
Yeah. We did have a Bayley match here against Ruby Riott. This kind of felt like filler to me.
It was. Bayley, I guess, needed the win because she has, been jobbing recently. Rightfully so, don't get me wrong. Like, rightfully so to Bianca Belair and stuff. So she needed the win. But the Riott Squad have gotten probably one win in the past, 6 months since they brought them back on both Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, what a horrible story that was.
Yeah. And, at one point you had the Riott Squad that completely broke up. Then they had Liv Morgan in a bathtub doing fucking promos. And then a week later, she's trying to hug Ruby Riott and be like, hey, let's be friends again.
Horrible.
It was
horrific.
Oh my god. And
horrifically bad, and then they're crying in the ring. Horrific.
Yeah. I could have sworn, correct me if I'm wrong, because this was on Raw, and unfortunately you're the one that has to sit through it. But didn't they hint at one point of her joining the Fiend, or is that just me that has that stuck in my head for some reason? An evil character turn twist or something?
No, we have Alexa Bliss for that. I don't think
probably Alexa.
Need any more of that shit.
No, definitely not. But
no more damaging people with that stuff.
Fuck no, hopefully not. But then you had like you said, Bayley got the win. I guess it does her some good. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with her heading into Mania. But they got to think of something fast, because if you have Carmella feuding with Sasha, feuding with Bianca, you have nothing for Bayley unless you throw her on Raw.
I'm trying to think if they did the women's battle royal.
Oh God.
Did they do that last year? I don't think they did.
I don't know. I can't.
They did not. No, they didn't. I don't even think they did the Andre the Giant thing, because you couldn't have too many people in the ring. So
they did. Yeah.
No battle royals last year.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll bring that back. I'd like to see Bayley win the trophy and just be a complete asshole. The whole.
I mean, see, my problem with this is I'm not saying I hate Bayley, right? Because I don't, because good worker and everything, and this is on creative. They give her something and then they kind of just forget it, like the whole ding dong thing, right? Which I thought was fucking hilarious. I enjoyed it a couple of weeks back, and then she alluded to it again last week and everything. But this week, nothing. And damn well that they're probably just gonna throw it away and forget about it. So you have that one good thing that you could do with Bayley, and I hope, and this is just me being I guess cynical, right? But I just feel like they have that one good thing with Bayley, and they're gonna forget about it. They're gonna put it on the side. Like, she wasn't wearing her ding dong shirt tonight or anything like that. No, I don't know, but they gotta think of something for her.
I really like the Bianca Belair promo in the ring tonight. I liked her backstage promo too. I love that video of her parents from Instagram.
Yeah.
I got a real kick out of that. But she, again, the poise, the charisma, the cadence, the confidence, she's got it all, man. And I thought this was a really good face-off with Sasha Banks and getting Reginald involved there. And Carmella, I thought that was a very effective promo. But to do that on this show and then do the same exact thing with Edge, where it's like, I'll tell you when I'm doing my thing. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay, like, is this gonna be the next few weeks? Because that's gonna get old real quick.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I understand why they did it, or I guess I suppose I understand why they did it tonight with Bianca Belair, because the Rumble was just on Sunday, and the first show back. If they have her on Raw, then they better not drag this shit off. They better not drag it on for long if they have Bianca Belair show up on Raw, because if they do, then it's a problem.
Agreed.
It's there's no way, and they don't need her on Raw. Like, Sasha Banks against Bianca Belair is a solid enough feud. The problem is, who the fuck do you put Asuka against? You go against Charlotte?
I think
Again?
that is the direction that they're going in. Although I have to say, if they brought up Rhea Ripley and had her face Asuka, I wouldn't hate that.
That'd actually be interesting. Or even Rhea Ripley on. You know what? If you give me Rhea Ripley on SmackDown, I'll accept Bianca against Asuka.
Okay.
I'll accept that. But just don't give me like another Carmella against Sasha going into Mania.
Agreed. Well, I think that ship has sailed now. I think they did all they could with that, and Carmella landing on her face on that suicide dive at the Rumble. I think that's all we need to see of that. I think I'm good there. I think I'm good with so many suicide dives. Dominik did one tonight too. It's like, I've had enough of the suicide dive to last me a lifetime.
At least Sasha hasn't done one in a while. At least. And
talk about the fall from grace that Otis has had.
Oh fuck! From being in a tag team, because you were at the Chamber, right, when he got speared, or when he speared or whatever went through the glass.
That guy was over like Rover in that match. If I can steal a line from stupid fucking Taz.
But is he someone that needs a crowd?
Oh yeah. Whereas he would say, "Oh yeah." He's a guy that needs a crowd for sure to feed off that energy. But you think about like all those people that were fired in April, as they were doing cost-cutting measures, because of the pandemic. One of the people that got fired was somebody who really understood the Otis character. The woman who wrote the Mandy Rose Otis storyline that had this awesome story that people were interested and invested in seeing heading into WrestleMania. And then it culminated with the big kiss at the end, and Otis beat Ziggler, and it's like now Otis is the Money in the Bank winner, and then this woman's gone now.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, she's gone. Wait, this is just a redheaded fat guy. Fuck him. That's really what it seems like. That's what happened. Yeah,
it does. And he went from Money in the Bank winner.
He's a young guy.
He is.
I think he's irreparably damaged from this. I don't think he comes back from how badly they have handled him now.
They should never have broken up, or not broken up, but I guess split up him and Tucker. Ever. That was stupid. That's on par for me. Well, this is worse, but this is on par at least with breaking up the Iconics, because Peyton Royce is doing nothing, Billy Kay is doing nothing. But
Agreed.
For this, like you said, for Otis, it's bad because, things were going well with Mandy, like you said. Then Money in the Bank was honestly surprising for me. I did not expect him to win the Money in the Bank. They got it off him, which I understand. But like you said, they got rid of the writer, and now they have nothing for him. If you're sticking someone with Chad fucking Gable, you're as good as dead. Like, that guy is as good as
Agreed. A charisma drain.
Oh yeah.
Charisma black hole.
And Otis is full of charisma too. Like, you're putting polar opposites together, and unfortunately with poor writing, it's Gable that's bringing him down.
Right. Odd couple tag teams work, in certain senses, but like they really, like, there's really not much there.
They normally complement each other, right?
They do. But I think, like, even though there's no crowd there, like, you can just see he's another guy that's like you can tell, like, the enthusiasm has been taken from him, because it's like, he had a good storyline with Mandy Rose that they could have dragged out a little more and added some more to it, and instead they moved, like, they essentially just like had her feud with Sonya Deville ignore Otis, and then they moved her to Raw, so he loses his girl, then he loses the Money in the Bank briefcase at, I think it was Hell in a Cell, with Tucker turning on him, Tucker beats the piss out of him. And then Tucker gets drafted to Raw, so Otis doesn't even get a match against Tucker. Not that that would have been great, and not that you'd want to see that, but he's had a whole bunch of shit happen to him without his character fighting back or doing anything about it.
Yeah.
So how how could anybody get into this character
No,
now?
they can't. They can't. He's not baby. He's your typical baby face that just rolls with the punches, doesn't defend himself. There's no fire. There's nothing. You know. Right. If you compare Otis now to the Otis that was chasing Dolph Ziggler around back in February or March of last year, it's night and day.
Two different characters.
It's
really
two completely different characters. And the one now, it's forget it. Fucking forget it.
Yeah, it sucks. I really feel for that guy. And here he is losing to
Rude
and losing to Ziggler and Rude, even though they're tag team champions. Man, like
it's rough.
He's going nowhere fast.
No, that's it. And the worst part is he's continuously kind of jobbing. Like he's not made to look good. And even if he does win a match, he doesn't come off looking good out of it.
Right. And he didn't have a good showing in the Rumble. He's just a guy now. That's really what he is. You know, it's like everything that happened where they undid everything they did at the beginning of 2020. It felt like they were actually just undoing this.
Yeah.
And this guy was a mistake. That's how it's come off to the fans.
You know what I could see them doing, and this is I hope not. I hope not for his sake. And what I'm about to mention, I love the person I'm going to compare him to, but I could easily see them in like, let's say a year or two, they turn him into another R-Truth.
Yeah.
There's like that goofy figure R-Truth. You know what I mean?
That could be a good reset for him to do something like that. But I think this is probably a guy that wants to do a little more. He's a really good athlete.
Sure. He is. No,
29
he's
years old.
Yeah. He is a big guy. He's fairly agile for his size. Yeah. I just think he's a tag team guy, but they broke up a perfectly good tag team.
Yeah. They kind of did. In a time when they could use some more tag teams.
Yeah. But
you didn't like this Hulk Hogan promo.
It was shit.
Hulk Hogan
I have
is
nothing
a
against
shell
Hulk.
of himself. He's not Hulk Hogan anymore.
No, it's nothing. It's, you know what that reminded me of, and I know it's like a bad comparison, but you know those memes of Virgil where he's just sitting there and he's like wrestling superstar or whatever. It's the same thing. Like Hogan's the same shit right now. There was no point. There was absolutely no one that could possibly think that was a good idea. At all. Number one, they didn't advertise it, so there's no fucking point. You took off. There's like those are 2 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Right.
I don't give a shit. Like if you're gonna mention Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan from 33 years ago, yeah, cool, but don't make it as a fucking segue or any way to try and get Hulk Hogan on this show.
Right.
Makes no sense.
And also it's like, you know, they talk about this big match that happened 33 years ago where 33 million people watched it. It's like, I don't want to be reminded that this used to be a popular product, and it certainly are not watching the product now.
No, I agree, totally. And not only
why
that,
can't we just leave the past, leave the memories alone?
That's Vince for you, right?
It's like
Vince.
They just live off nostalgia, and that's why the Performance Center isn't working, because we live off the nostalgia. Like nobody can get over, because it's always like, you know, you can't even be the next Shawn Michaels because Shawn Michaels doesn't go the fuck away.
No, and that's the thing.
And all they do is compare people like two former people. It's like nobody's ever allowed to stand on their own. They always have to have some weird comparison or something that hinders their advancement.
Yeah, and maybe honestly going back, maybe that's what fucked up a little bit Dolph Ziggler.
Yes,
he's Billy Gunn and Shawn Michaels rolled into one.
For sure.
It's that.
And Shawn Michaels from the dollar store.
Oh God, yeah, like
that's Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, definitely.
Say what you want about Shawn Michaels. The motherfucker had charisma.
Oh no, dude, I like Shawn. Some fucking excellent matches. Talented worker. It was just, you know, from what you hear from others, he was just a prick off, off stage.
But that second half of his career, when he came back in 2002, it's like he had a Hall of Fame career just in those in those 3-4 years that he was doing that. You know.
Yeah.
You know, let alone what he did before that. He actually was like a polished, complete wrestler, I thought. And like, you know, early to mid 2000s up to 2010. I thought he was better than he ever was in the 90s.
He was good. He was good. No, I totally agree. Shawn Michaels, up until that, 2005, I guess, when he fully kind of stopped, or no, later on against the Undertaker. But he had those 4 or 5 years after he came back from 2002 or 2003 up until 6, 7. He was a solid worker, man. I can't say shit about Michaels. Nothing bad in the ring. But to go back to Hogan just for a split second, because this is my fucking mini rant. Imagine I'm someone who hasn't watched wrestling in forever, in years, and then I hear, shit, there's the Royal Rumble. So I'm watching the Rumble. For whatever reason, after watching the Rumble, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I'll watch SmackDown. I might be interested again. I put SmackDown. I see Hulk Hogan on there. What the fuck is my reaction going to be? Oh, shit, this is cool? Or, oh, what the fuck? They still have this old guy on here. No point in putting Hogan on there at all.
It did nothing. And
No.
Again, it just reminds you that, like, a lot of people used to watch this, and now
Yeah.
they don't.
Now they don't. And
it's like if we have to, like, look back and see these people that we remember from 33 years ago, and if you showed me somebody that was on the show 3 years ago, I might not remember them.
No, at all. God,
it's an
no.
indictment of their current roster.
God, no. And on your side, I hope everything is well. I am reading the chat.
I didn't feel anything. I don't know what the heck is going on here. I don't know what's going. There's no earthquake.
I don't know.
Maybe I missed it. I've actually, we always have like little mini quakes every couple years here. I remember sitting in Panera Bread and I felt like somebody was pushing me. But it was a mini earthquake going on. That's what was going on. I didn't feel anything this time though.
I did see the microphone move though, like up and down.
Did you? I don't know if I just hit it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe I was too amped up and I shook the house. I don't know. That's what I get when I talk to Roy Nemer, man.
Yeah, that's. Get me on Raw during one of your rants. We'll see. Look what I'll do to you.
Supernova. All right.
That's it.
It's a triple threat intercontinental title match. Roy, talk about it.
Yes. Finally. Well, look, if you're gonna break up a tag team, do it the way they did with the New Day and put a fucking strap a rocket on Big E, and that's exactly what they're doing. Big fan of Big E. I like the match. Sami Zayn is, I'll say annoying, but annoying in a good way, at least for now. I just don't get what they're doing with Apollo Crews. That's my only fucking complaint.
I don't think they know what they're doing with him either.
3 weeks ago, they had him in the room with Roman Reigns and Heyman, and he's giving him advice and all that shit. And then you see an edgier Apollo Crews, and then that's it. He loses 3 matches in a row against Big E, which I'm not complaining about. I love Big E and keep pushing Big E, but what the hell are you doing with Apollo?
They're not doing anything with him. It's like, Big E. Here's another guy who got called up, in 2012. Was Dolph Ziggler's sidekick. I'm sorry, 2013. Dolph Ziggler's sidekick, made his in-ring debut on the main roster at WrestleMania 29. And it's like, other than like a brief Intercontinental title stint, he was with the New Day, but like he didn't stand out. Actually, Kofi wound up emerging from that group, and then they finally, after 7 years of just kind of being like one of the guys, they finally separated them. But it's like this guy waited 7 years, and at least he's not wasting his opportunity. He's pumped up and he's looking good. He's looking really like. I hope they have something good primed for him at WrestleMania.
I do too. I'm just happy, or I hope, that he wins the title this year. I just hope, like SummerSlam, Survivor Series, something, give Big E the title, or even later than that if you want to keep it on Roman.
Like have Roman Reigns beat Edge, and SummerSlam have Big E beat him.
Exactly, that'd be huge.
That would be just amazing.
That'd be huge, especially if by then I won't say regularly, but if they could at least get some fans in, not for Raw or SmackDown, but at least for the pay-per-views, I think that would be huge.
Yeah.
If you could have Big E there.
That would make the house shake.
Definitely. And I have no doubt it'd be, a good match. Roman good in the ring, and Big E's fucking impressive as well. But no, I hope, they're doing well with Big E. He's fucking hilarious on the mic, extremely charismatic, and he's not like, you watch him in the ring, you're like, shit, this is not some guy I want to fuck with.
Right.
He's good.
Yeah.
It's the other 2 guys that were with him in this match, Apollo Crews and Sami, were like, they just don't know what they're doing with him. Even Sami, they have this whole documentary following him around, and the only way I could see potentially Sammy, let's say, winning the Intercontinental title back is if they do, what was it? It was like a Yokozuna versus Hulk Hogan with the camera flash.
Yeah.
If they have one
Yeah.
of Sammy's guys, whoop, the flame.
I would
That,
love to
fuck
see
it.
that. That would be great.
That'd be cool.
Like Sami Zayn, I think if you, this is not a knock, I promise you, but
No.
I think if you lived in America right now,
Yeah.
you would probably appreciate the Sami Zayn character a little more, where we are just living amongst people who believe in fucking conspiracy theories. Like
yeah.
today, literally today, you've seen the commercials with the fucking guy from My Pillow.
Yeah.
You know, My Pillow. The guy sewed a fucking pillow. That's a pillow. It's a pillow. He's not a fucking genius who's the only one capable of understanding how the election was stolen. This guy's coming out with a 2-hour video today about how the election was stolen and this and that. Like, we are living amongst mentally ill people who believe in fucking conspiracy theories. You know, like we have a congresswoman right now who thinks that 9/11 was an inside job, as was all these school shootings that happened. It's like, come on. That's what Sami Zayn is right now. He's like the conspiracy theory, like, this isn't fair, everybody's conspiring against me. Like, I think that's what
that makes a bit more sense. See, I honestly never
it gets me a kick, because it's like some people are getting their news from the fucking guy who goes by the name My Pillow Guy. That's Sami Zayn, man.
Okay, honestly, I never saw it that way. That's a whole different point of view. So I can see why that works for you guys. Like, or now in general, not just for you guys, but obviously I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, you have those conspiracy theorists, you know, across the entire fucking planet. But for you guys, it's a little bit more. And Andrew says a Mike political rant. I'm all here for it, man. I'm here for it. I'm all ears, so I don't mind.
Here's one more for you. I was just going on Twitter to check the poll. And this is the first thing that confronts me. It's like, Natalya, stop.
Oh God.
She's like my grandmother, man. I don't know. It's like
Natalya is fuck. She's good in the ring. I know why they keep her around, but so bad.
Something off about her. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Strange. It's just strange.
She's and I feel kind of bad saying this, but she did not get a single ounce of charisma from her dad.
None. Zero. Nada. Nothing.
At all. She got it from Brett, though.
Yeah, she got Brett's charisma for sure.
Brett's charisma.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, it does. Oh boy, but yeah, look, if they could get the belt off Big E that way, do the camera flash with Sammy winning, I'm all ears.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%.
I'd love that.
Main event segment. What did you think of it? We talked about at the beginning of the show, but now that we're actually here at the main event segment, what did you think of this little ditty here with Edge and kind of leaving us on a cliffhanger of who he's going to choose?
I liked it. I thought it was cool. You know, Edge could cut a promo. Edge could hang in there with the best of them, right, when it comes to cutting promos, especially these days. But granted, that's not saying much considering the talent pool. But no, it was a good promo from Edge. You know, he hyped up his Rumble win. He was out for 7 months, rehab, and all that stuff. He tried hyping up, Finn Balor. Who am I gonna pick? But this segment again, it's all Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It's Roman. Roman comes in and steals the show. Not that Edge was doing a bad job of it, but comes in, steals the show again, and then. You know, I think I tweeted it out. I was expecting or half expecting Christian to come out, and instead it was Kevin Owens.
Me too.
And that was surprising.
We were on the same wavelength. I was thinking, like, where's Christian? I thought because I'm like, Christian's going to be the Jey Uso in this one.
That's it. And even Edge kind of mentioned it. Not Christian, but he's like, you know, I'm already in your head. You have Jey Uso here, and I loved Roman's line of, "Don't worry. Paul Heyman won't move unless I tell him, or unless I give him permission." And it was just like so subtle, but so fucking funny. But yeah, then with Jay there, you kind of expect, okay, so Christian's going to come back, or he's going to play a role or help him out or anything. And then you get Kevin Owens, and look, I like Kevin Owens, nothing against him. But I'm kind of done with this feud.
Oh yeah, I am way beyond.
I'm done.
Wanting to see that again, especially after the handcuff debacle. Like,
yeah.
And to me, like, the handcuff debacle means that they're gonna try to like do some more with it. You know, it's like, oh well, we can't leave it like that, so let's get one more match out of this. No, I don't want to see it again. I don't mind seeing like a tag match with like Roman and Jay versus Edge and Kevin Owens at like Elimination Chamber or something like that. If, you know, Edge makes his decision, that would make the most sense.
But you got to get Owens out of there.
Yeah, Owens has to move on at some point. But I'm just saying, like, maybe you could blow it off with like Edge and Kevin Owens, like, you know, Edge spears Jey Uso and gets the win while Roman backs up or something like that. So Kevin Owens gets a win at least, but
something.
It's time to move on.
No, they had him exactly. They had him lose TLC, was it? TLC or Hell in a Cell? I can't remember. No, TLC, sorry. It was TLC.
And then a cage match on Christmas.
Cage match, that's it, on Christmas Day. And now this again. And it's, look, I get it, you know, Jey Uso and all that stuff, but it's 3 relatively clean wins if you think of it. You know, you can't really cheat in a cage match. Absolutely. And this was a last man standing, and the other was a TLC. So that's 3 legit losses in a row. That's it, over a span of 3-4 months. Give us something else, but there's still 2 months to wait.
Matches, that's all you need, and then it's time to move on. Any more than that, it gets really, really old.
It's overkill, yeah. But we have 2 months left until WrestleMania. Fuck.
We sure do. We sure do. And as you said in your tweet, there's still 2 months, and it looks like we'll have Edge versus Roman and Sasha versus Bianca. You're sold, but the mid card needs to be worked on.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out where the hell Kevin Owens is going there.
Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, the tag titles, though I'm hoping it's pretty obvious that the Street Profits get it back. Big E, I don't know, you know, do they keep him feuding with Sami Zayn or Apollo Crews? But that mid card needs work. The tough part is always, you know, the heavyweight, you know, the main title, men's title, women's title. The tough part looks to be taken care of. It's the easy part that's proving to be difficult for them.
Right. So, Roy, I'd like to pose the question to the chat room. What do you give tonight's episode of SmackDown? You give it a thumbs up or thumbs down? Chat room, let us know. Mr. SmackDown Recapper, my old job. That's how I came into this website as the SmackDown Recapper in 2008. What did you think of tonight's episode of SmackDown? You give a thumbs up or thumbs down?
I've been continuously voting a thumbs up for the better part of a year, almost. It's tough to give the show a thumbs down, to be honest. And I'm not even trying to compare it, and I'm being honest. It's not like I'm trying to compare it to Raw, where you're like, wow, it's so much better, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm looking at it as a standalone show. Forget Raw, forget NXT or anything else. It's entertaining. It's 2 hours. We're getting good wrestling. We're getting good promos. Some storylines advancing. You know, I can't see it being a thumbs down. Jamel says thumbs in the middle. Yeah, I mean, sure, but definitely not a thumbs down. Andrew says thumbs up. So for me, it's a thumbs up. I don't know about you, Mike, but
I give it a thumbs up.
By the way, sorry for stealing your job. I guess it's part of the perks of, and by job I mean, you know, SmackDown Recapper, but it's part of the perks of being part of the family. Oh,
no question about it. No. I loved SmackDown. I loved recapping this show. In fact, it's kind of, you know, apropos that we did this show tonight with Edge on SmackDown. Edge was just the dominating face of SmackDown when I started with the website. Up until he retired, pretty much, he was the main star on SmackDown, the main heel, and then he became the main face. So it was great to see Edge on the show tonight. Brought back a lot of memories. This show, it's such an easy watch. You know, I love wrestling. I just want to watch a show, enjoy it, and I don't want to feel like it's a chore. Whenever I tune into SmackDown, it never feels like a chore. And yeah, it's like I wasn't a big fan of just like, you know, the Kevin Owens stunner, because I just don't want to see that continue on, and then Edge just kind of walking away with, like, you know, kind of like, you know, 2 segments that were exactly the same. Just one, the participants were female, and the other where the participants were male, ending the exact same way on the same show. It's like, you know, but because it's such an easy watch, because we got Daniel Bryan versus Cesaro with a really good ending there. We had that triple threat. I thought the Intercontinental title match was very good. This is an easy, no-brainer thumbs up. Yeah, no, easily.
And I feel like SmackDown, despite the fact that they always joke about it being the B show, if you look at it historically, like you said, you had Edge, you had Eddie Guerrero as champion, you had Brock Lesnar, you had John Cena, a very good tag team division at one point. It's just a fun show. Historically, it has always been fun, has always had some good wrestlers, some good stuff on there. even the JBL stuff, which I was never particularly a fan of JBL, but brought some people in.
Yes.
Raw's always been, for the better part of a decade, just kind of a struggle to get through because of the 3 hours.
Yeah, no question about it. The 3 hours is, other than the Fiend, the 3 hours is the worst thing that happened to Raw, ever.
Worse than Seth Rollins? Or the recent Seth Rollins?
Good point. Good point. Oh, no Seth Rollins tonight too. That makes another thumbs up. That's a double thumbs up. Andrew Elder, you better be given a double thumbs up for that.
He's coming back next week though.
Yes, I know. But for tonight, there was no Seth Rollins. Andrew Elder, you got to give that a double thumbs up. I don't care. Andrew Elder is not on the Rollins train.
No. Oh, at all. Yeah, me neither. Trust me. I just try and be positive, but I
hear
I never have been. Even when he was with the Shield, and then later on with Triple H with Hunter, I was never particularly a fan of his.
I just think he's a horrific promo. I just think he is just awful with promos, and they push him like he's really good, like he's some promo savant. It ain't.
Yeah, like he's. But I mean this honestly. Like they push him, and at one point I can't remember who it was. They kind of compared him to like Shawn Michaels. I'm like, what? Like, there's no fucking way. I can't remember, it was a commentator, but anyways. But at least people in the chat, right? Most of it, if not everyone's giving it a thumbs up.
It does look like it. Yes. Yeah. This is it's really a no-brainer. Yeah. So Roy, I want to thank you for allowing me to help you pilot this first episode of the SmackDown Post Show, and I'm looking forward to tuning in and watching you with other co-stars and hearing you talk about SmackDown in the weeks to come.
You're too modest, Mike. Thank you. This would not have happened without you. You and I both know this. I still have to figure out how to get this thing rolling. So hopefully there's gonna be a show next week.
You'll figure it out. Well, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be great with this, and I'm really looking forward to the shows to come. This Sunday we have Mr. Doug Lackey doing Wrestleview Live at 5 o'clock. I don't know how that's going to be possible because the Super Bowl is also this Sunday. I don't know if Doug factored that in.
You guys have that shitty sport, right?
Oh, that's real football, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. That's probably the one thing we don't necessarily see eye to eye.
No. I'm not really. Honestly, I'm really not a football. Baseball's my sport.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Although I used to play soccer when I was in first grade, and I wasn't that good. But if I had known that I could make the kind of money that Messi is making,
yeah, when you're making,
tried a lot harder.
When you're making 50 million euros a year, so roughly 60-70 million dollars a year for the past 10 years. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Not a bad career choice.
If I could just be an underling, that would have been amazing.
I'll be a ball boy. Just give me some money or something.
There you go. Yeah, I'd love to be a referee. Just like hand out the cards.
I can't run anymore for 90 minutes. That's my problem. Especially not during COVID.
Yeah.
It's tough. But thanks, Mike. Thank you for helping me do this. Thank you for setting it up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Next week I'll definitely be back. Obviously, it was just joking. I'll be back next week, probably solo next week. So I will need a lot of you guys in the chat. So it's not just me speaking to myself, because I do that enough times as it is during the day. So I definitely need you guys on here. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it interactive. I promise you that. I can't promise it'll be as fun or as entertaining as the show on Monday involving Mike and Victoria, but I'll definitely try my best. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll definitely try and get some co-hosts on the show as well as we go along. Plus, SmackDown's only 2 hours, right? So it's an easy sit. And after that, we can do the post show, and it'll be fun.
Very easy, very, very easy. And yes. And I just have to get a quick plug in for my show, Post Raw, this Monday. Yes. Tune in for the funeral of Andrew Elder. He's going to be having a face-off with Victoria on Monday. So tune in and check that out. It's gonna be something. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. What's that thing? That'll put some butts in the seats. But
That's
it definitely will. It actually will.
Tony Schiavone still lives.
That was fucking 20 years ago, or more, 25 years.
22. It's gonna be 22 years this year.
Wow, that's insane.
It already was, because that was
That was 98
that was
or
the
99?
first that was the first episode of 1999.
There you go, 99. So that was 22 years ago. Just
Wow.
so time flies. Time flies, buddy.
Yeah, I don't feel that old, man, but apparently I am.
Man, I'm at all, and we're not that far off in terms of age. So
No.
yeah, I don't feel that old.
I had to ask Victoria like what my age was today, because like I'm at that age where I'm just like like I don't even think about it anymore. I forgot. I was like, am I 34? And she's like, no, you're 33. Stop it.
Oh my God. Okay, so you're 30. See, I'm 30, so it's not too bad. I'll be 31.
Victoria's 30.
I share, and this is not my fault. I'm born June 14, same day as your previous president.
Wow. There you go.
There you go. So that's a little fun, completely useless fact about me. I'm born June 14. Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? Just give me his money. I won't say anything. Just give me
Absolutely. I'll take that all day long. All right, Roy. Thanks so much again for having me on the show. The Wrestleview Post SmackDown Show. Roy's gonna rename that at some point.
Hopefully.
But thank you everybody, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We announced it on Sunday, and gosh, like look at all these people that came out to check out the show. So this is good stuff. Let's keep the momentum going.
Definitely.
I'm Mike Tedesco. This is Roy Nemer. Have a good week, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, let's try the Super Bowl. Thank you.
Fake football, by the way. Take care.